We're going to be talking to our special guest. He's coming up right next. He's waiting for us over in Cape Town. Bitcoin, 64,399. Ethereum is at 3,141. Let's go to Blake Player. He is the head of growth over at VALR. I think he joins us from Cape Town. Blake, good afternoon to you. I think it's good afternoon over in Cape Town. Great to have you on the show. We just looked at the cryptocurrency prices, and I think you have some good news to share with VALR expanding into South Africa, as Arise News has as well. So we're both sharing the same news of South Africa expansion. Can you talk to us about the Bitcoin price action since the halving took place last week?
Yes, thanks, Rota. It's great to be on the show. I'm indeed calling in from Cape Town at the moment. The halving happened last week, and it was quite an exciting time for the industry. It's the moment that everyone's been waiting for 4 years. And what it means is that the supply of Bitcoin that gets produced each block has cut in half since the moment it happened. So right now, the Bitcoin miners are effectively at the same price level, earning half the revenue that they would per block. The price action has actually been steadily sort of sideways since the event, and this is actually quite typical. It's happened in most other halvings. You see a very anticipated event. It's something that's been known since the whole history of Bitcoin. We always knew that around this time there would be a halving, so everybody was already expecting this, and normally there is quite a lot of sideways movement after the halving, and a few months afterwards, there's typically an upward movement as the new supply dynamics start to take place in the market.
So what are you going to be offering to South Africans with your platform? Is it trading? Are you guys an exchange?
Yes, so VALR is a cryptocurrency exchange. We offer spot trading as well as spot margin, so that's leverage on spot. And recently, we've just introduced perpetual futures trading, which allows customers to take positions both long and short on derivative products, which allows the customer to accrue P&L or profit and loss in stablecoin, or in the case of our South African business, also in rands. We are actually launching a very attractive trading competition called the Grand Slam of Trading, where we'll pay out up to $60 million over the next 12 months in prizes to our customers who are trading on our futures pairs. So you can see more about that on our website. But we are also one of the first exchanges in the country to receive a license from the South African Financial Services Conduct Authority, which allows to serve South Africans in crypto asset services, which we have been doing, and are currently the largest exchange in the country by trade volume.
All right. Yeah, I did see that news that the Financial Services Conduct Authority had handed out a number of licenses to players in the crypto space. Blake, I got to tell you, I am a crypto skeptic, right? So maybe you can win me over. From the peak of, I think it was about March, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin rather, hit 73,000. Since that time, it's down to about 66. So we're putting the price up. So if you went long on Bitcoin when it hit 73,000, you've lost almost 20% since that time. We always tell our viewers to speak to a financial services professional before dabbling in equities or fixed income or crypto or whatever alternative assets are out there. What about the risk story, the risk narrative around cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin? Is that, I mean, of course, you're a player in the sector, so you're going to tell me all the good things about it. But, in terms of the amount of money people can lose, is that something you tell people ahead of time before trading? Because this is a volatile, risky asset.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly it's the volatility can be very risky, and a lot of people do lose a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is a bad asset class, and there are many risk assets in the market. You see high volatility across asset classes, but we always advise people that to not invest funds in any asset class that is highly volatile that you're expecting to need in the near future. Crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum are long-term investments, and holders that have purchased these assets and invested them with them for over 5 years are currently all in profit. But those that maybe bought it last week or end of February when the prices were at all-time highs will probably find themselves underwater in the short term. But generally, as a longer-term investment, volatile assets are much more safe. And certainly Bitcoin has been around now for about 15 years. And it continues to be the fastest growing and best performing asset class in the market as a whole. So certainly risky, and you should certainly be cautious with what you invest. But volatility on its own right is not necessarily a reason to avoid the asset class in totality. And there is, in my opinion, at least a percentage of one's portfolio that you should allocate, but it certainly shouldn't be funds that you're willing to lose, that you're not able to lose or can't afford to lose.
Certainly.
And if you yeah.
Certainly, that's the disclaimer. Okay, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on some of the earnings that we've seen from two of the big technology players, one being Microsoft, the other being Apple. Excuse me, Apple. I keep doing this. Every time I want to say Apple, every time I want to say Alphabet, I say Apple. Anyway, Alphabet, so the parent of Google. What do you make of, I mean, both of them beat earnings expectations, stock prices climbing double digits since last night, or rather since the close of trading yesterday. And they've been spending billions on artificial intelligence. What's your take on what we saw from Microsoft and Alphabet?
Yeah, so I think really good results for two of the largest companies in the world that are driving a significant amount of the stock market valuation. AI is definitely the big narrative that's been taking place for the last 6 months with Microsoft's and the involvement with OpenAI. That was a big story a few months ago, and Google also playing catch up to some extent on the AI side. But if you look even on the numbers on screen at the moment, you'll see the majority of revenue is actually still their cloud services, and particularly Google and Microsoft are leading players in there, along with Amazon, with AWS. And as more companies and more services continue to go digital and running their services in the cloud, like ourselves, we run on the cloud. I'm not expecting that revenue to decline, but the proportion of AI revenue that they're all forecasting is growing, and it's exciting to see some of these technologies also start to be introduced into new areas like cryptocurrency protocols and other trading platforms, which are now using more and more AI to provide trading suggestions or investment advice to retail users and to algorithms that are now using AI to trade. So it's quite an exciting time, and I'm certainly expecting the demand for AI computation, so with the likes of the cloud services that they provide and the hardware providers like NVIDIA to continue to grow as this technology becomes more prevalent.
And you mentioned, of course, the ability to act as, well, to some extent, give some advice or at least profile individuals or profile customers who are looking to invest. Do you fear that, this is a question I ask all our guests when we talk tech and artificial intelligence, do you have any concerns about it replacing humans? Because actually, I don't know, maybe in our next segment or so, we've got a quote from the head of Tata Consultancy Services, K. Krishavan, I think is his name, saying that AI will replace call centers, for instance. And India is a big player in call centers. I know there are a number of call centers in South Africa as well. I mean, if an AI can, automate somebody's issues and give them a solution, do you fear about jobs? That's the basic question I'm asking.
Probably not in the short term. I still think that most companies still favor and most consumers still favor talking to a human. But what I think it may help with is screening out a lot of the routine, commonly asked questions and issues that companies face, which are the vast majority of support tickets and call center issues are very routine, very repetitive. And I think what it might do is help streamline a lot of those sort of support issues and allow the human staff to deal with the more complex and higher touch issues. In the longer term, it may have an effect on total number of staff in those areas. But overall, if it drives economic growth, I think in the end, there will be opportunities in other areas of the economy for people. So it's not clear to me that it would be a negative thing to society at this stage.
Great stuff. Blake Player, Head of Growth at VALR. Once again, congrats on expanding into the South African market. If I change my mind on crypto, maybe I'll give you guys a call. Thank you so much for your time and for talking to the Global Business Report on Arise News.